afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. This is the latest news. Donald Trump, Tom Homan, deporting a bunch of gang members from the U.S. into El Salvador, into one of the most notorious prisons in the world. You know, one of the best run that can handle this, and for less cost on taxpayers. I just think this is a win for the United States. I want to get right into it. Before you get started, the only course of admission, hit the like button if you don't mind. And also, if you really like the content, do me a favor, just subscribe to the channel. And I would love to hear what you have to say in comments on this subject. So let's get right into it right now. So let's get started.
All right, let's get to some news. It's 4 minutes after the top of the hour. The White House is defending its decision to send hundreds of alleged gang members to a super prison down in El Salvador.
And President Trump is thanking the country for taking all of those illegal migrants in.
Good job, El Salvador. One of the great stories in Central and South America. Maddie Rivera is live in Washington. Maddie.
Hi, guys. Good morning. The president of El Salvador says more than 200 Tren Aragua members arrived in the country over the weekend. He also says they received almost 24 MS-13 gang members from the U.S. A senior Trump administration official tells our Bill Malugin 261 illegal aliens were deported to El Salvador. In total, 101 were Venezuelans removed via Title VIII, and 137 were deported through the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. And that's what's been causing a lot of controversy. This wartime authority gives the president the power to deport non-citizens without a judicial hearing during a period of war or invasion. The act has only been used 3 other times in American history. This is the first time it's been invoked since World War II. But the president is justifying its use.
Well, this is a time of war because Biden allowed millions of people, many of them criminals, many of them at the highest level. They emptied jails out. Other nations emptied their jails into the United States. It's an invasion.
On Saturday, a federal judge ordered the Trump administration to stop removals under the act to see if its invocation is legal. And he ordered deportation flights to turn around. But the White House says the planes were already outside of U.S. airspace, so they argue the judge's ruling no longer applied. White House Press Secretary Carol.
I mean, think about that, right? I mean, you got a judge, some federal judge, some hack judge, basically telling the president of the United States what he can and cannot do. I mean, if this is not rogue, and this is why the Democratic Party right now, they're in the sinking ship right now, because the people see what's really going on. People are aware, like, okay, you know, when it was President Biden allowing in all these hundreds of millions of illegal aliens coming into the country, which, you know, they want to say undocumented folks. I mean, whatever terminology you want to use. The thing is, at the end of the day, there's no other countries in the world that's going to just allow this lawlessness in their country. So, you know, I mean, tell me what you think in the comments below. Anyway, let's continue.
Caroline Levitt says the administration did not refuse to comply with a court order. Levitt goes on to say federal courts generally have no jurisdiction over the president's conduct of foreign affairs, adding a single judge in a single city cannot direct the movements of an aircraft carrier full of Aryan alien terrorists who are physically expelled from U.S. soil. The temporary restraining order is in effect for 14 days. A hearing is scheduled on March 21st. Lawrence Ainsley and Brian.
All right,
Maddie, it's incredible. Thank you so much. When you look at their rap sheets, it's hard to believe that some judge was saying, keep them here in America. Because they're alleged gang members and their rap sheets are long.
And as you can see, you see the amount of soldiers there are. I mean, these guys are not playing in El Salvador, you know, and they're doing it, and they're offering the president of El Salvador, I forgot his name, but, you know, he's putting a clear message that he's not tolerating this, right? So there's a lot of countries right now that's going through the same problem with these illegal immigrant gang members, you know, causing, you know, murdering people, doing all types of crime, you know, rapes and whatever else, you know, that, you know, ungodly things they're doing. But as you can see, just looking at this image right here, you know, these guys are not playing games. And I think this is going to be a good deterrent And that's what you need. You got to show people that, okay, if you break the law in the United States, you will pay the price. You know, and with Biden, it was just lawlessness. And of course, we all know he had a different agenda. You know, these people don't love America at all. You know, and like I said, the safety, they're always talking about the American people, but their actions say one thing compared to what their verbal rhetoric is, you know, the theatrics, you know, and the same thing about, you know, protests, which I'm also going to do a episode here, you know, probably today, you know, or this evening, you know, about these protests going on in the universities. So, you know, let's get right into it. So just let me know what you think in the comments of the El Salvadorian prison and how, you know, I just think it's great. I mean, and it's definitely a deterrent. So, you know, I give kudos to Tom Homan and President Trump. So let's get back into it.
These are career criminals that were in America, in this great country of El Salvador. The president there, working hand in hand with Donald Trump, decided they can come here. And you see in the video, their heads were being forced down. They're being transported one by one. They're getting their heads shaved. They're walking with their hands behind their necks. And this is all at a detention center, the El Salvador Terrorism Confinement Center. And the president down there says they will stay for at least a year.
Yet again, I find myself amazed with the Democratic Party and even some of the members of the media. They're talking about process again, and they're not talking about the evildoers that were in our country because Joe Biden decided to just unleash the border, remove all the security barriers that were there because he didn't like the president that came before him. And you had 10 million people come into the country. We didn't vet these people, and some of these people right here were the ones that came into the country. Rapists, murderers, people that committed assault as well. And so you have this unifying message. 80% of the country, over 70% believe that we should have mass deportation of these people. Yet they defend the actions of these criminals.
So the way I understand it, a couple of days, I think it was Friday, where the president enacted the 1798-era Alien Enemies Act. And he said because of that, he was setting the table to get rid of TDA, MS-13, and all these criminal gangs that have come into our country. Next thing you know, we have lined up, I guess, 21 of the most wanted El Salvador MS-13 guys, 250 alien enemy members of TDA. They were all decided because I think Marco Rubio worked this out with the El Salvadorian president to open up their prisons. They cleaned up their country by putting them all in jail. And they said the ones who came into America, we'll take them back. We pay them, but it's going to save us money to put El Salvador, keep them in a complete lockup for at least a year because we do not have the confidence that Venezuelan will be able to hold them. So a judge says, wait a second, I don't think you should be able to do the 1790.
Yeah, you see how they shave these people, basically take away their whole identity, like when they come in. Because, I mean, all the heinous crimes these guys done, you know, and I guess kudos to the El Salvadorian president, you know, for building such a efficient prison system, you know, to deter these criminals from harming people, raping women, killing, murder, drugs. I mean, you name it, they've been doing it. And like I said, the Biden administration, just like the commentator here at Fox News said, I mean, they're advocating this stuff, the Democratic Party, you know, and they want to know why their approval record, their approval ratings is just like it's in the garbage right now. So, but anyway, let me know what you think in the comments about that. Let's continue.
98 Act, turn the plane around.
No way.
Turn the plane around.
No way.
No, we're already out. And in turn, Congressman Brandon Gill of Texas has announced plans to impeach the judge for trying to assert himself in this process. And it's James Boasberg. He wanted a 14-day hold to examine this. Forget it. And okay, Democrats, go ahead. You go stick up for these guys.
You run on this.
You said that
Tell
Barack
that to the
Obama,
nunnery family.
This judge is a Barack Obama
Yes.
appointee. And Donald Trump said, too late. You decided this. They're already out of U.S. airspace. They're flying down to El Salvador now. The migrants are already out of U.S. airspace when that judge ordered the planes to return. And he said the order came too late.
81 illegal aliens also arrested in Kentucky on ICE raids. So we've kicked out about 37,000 illegal aliens with criminal backgrounds and did some type of criminality once they were here. This is exactly what Trump's trying to do.
I just asked the question, Bri, again. Is this, you see these images of these violent criminals that were in our country. Do you guys want to be the party of these folks right here? Do you want to be the party of defending these folks? Something has to also be done. Brandon Gill, he's the youngest Republican in the House, represents my home state of Texas. He's offering these articles of impeachment. I don't think it's unwarranted. You got these federal judges that are acting like activists, trying to make sweeping measures for something that the president has the authority to do.
Right. So think about this. If you're Laken Riley's family and you find out the Democrats and this judge is saying, turn the plane around, bring it back to America, you know how many crimes that they would have perpetrated had President Trump not won the election and led the charge, but Tom Homan, the executor of these plans to get rid of these people right away. So I just think overall it's a great message. This is what they keep telling me. Like Henry Cuellar was the first to say it. It is so valuable to show the world the video of people being turned around. Don't just tell me numbers. Show people being turned around because it bridges languages. They go, it's not worth it to sell my mud hut and come here with all the money I have to get into America. I'm staying.
So this morning, hundreds of illegal immigrants, some with alleged gang ties, are no longer in the country. The Trump administration deporting them to an El Salvador mega prison. It comes as an Obama-appointed judge temporarily blocks the president from using a wartime act for deportations. White House border czar Tom Homan joins us now. So, Tom, this is a promise made, a promise kept, but it looks like a judge is trying to stop this. Why?
I don't know why. I don't know why any judge would want terrorists returned to the United States. I mean, first of all, the video, what a beautiful thing to see.
It's incredible.
Look, the President Trump, by proclamation, invoked the authorities of the Alien Enemies Act, which he has the right to do, and it's a game changer. And we removed over 200 violent criminals from the United States, just not TDA, but also MS-13. The actions of President Trump made this country safer. Every criminal alien, every criminal public safety threat and national security threat removed from this country makes this country safer. That's what the American voters voted for. That's their mandate to the president. The president's keeping his promise. President Trump's a game changer. The Alien Enemies Act hasn't been used in a long time. And when I watched the video and I saw, and I was involved this week in this whole movement, it's an extraordinary thing what the President Trump is doing to keep his promise to American people to make this country safe again. And he's doing a fabulous job.
So, Tom, I look at this judge. The flights were already in the air, in international waters. How did the judge get involved? Did these immigrants that were in the country illegally, did their lawyers get involved and make a petition to the judge? How did this happen? How did the judge know about the flights
very good question.
being in the air?
Again, information was leaked somehow. I don't quite know how it got leaked, but there was a emergency court hearing on five people that were on schedule to be deported. The judge had a written order that said these 5 people can't be removed right now. It wasn't until this flight was already in international waters, heading down to El Salvador, that the judge made some comment about returning the flights. We're already in international waters. We're outside the borders of the United States. I'm the border czar. Once you're outside the border, it is what it is. But they're in international waters, already on the way south, close to landing. You know what? We did what we had to do. Remove terrorists, significant public safety threats from the United States. By the order of the proclamation by the President of the United States, we did the right thing.
Tom, you say that it...
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like I said, now you understand why President Trump made Tom Homan the border czar. As you remember, just recently, just a few months ago, you had Kamala Harris. She was the border czar. And then they were lying to the people, saying that, there's not an issue at the border. The border is secure. I mean, really, they just think we're that, that's stupid that you could just tell us anything. But we're seeing the crime, we're seeing the drugs, we're seeing the fentanyl, we're seeing the rapes, the murders. I mean, you see at the news around the United States where they were taking over apartment complexes. I mean, this stuff is crazy. Yeah, but anyway, like I said, let me know what you think about those comments I just said, in the comments below. I want to know what you think. All right, let's continue.
It was 5 that were on there where this emergency hearing was coming. So why is the judge asking for the entire flight to be returned?
Your guess is good as mine, Lawrence. You got some radical judge who makes a decision.
This can't happen.
That just defies logic. I mean, who in the right mind, whether you're a judge or not, wants known public TDA, a recognized terrorist organization, sent here by the Maduro regime to create havoc, to unsettle the United States through the use of fentanyl to kill thousands of Americans, violence to American citizens, raping and murdering young women in this country. They are enemies of this country, and President Trump treated them as enemies, and we did exactly what we should have done. Again, President Trump is going to make this country safe again. He's going to do it one illegal alien at a time. And this weekend, we did 261.
So, Tom, what's next? Because I'm getting a little worried about the manpower. These guys they have to be tired. You got 30 guys on the stack going on different busts every single day. You're going to run out of money. It doesn't look like you're getting support from the Democrats on this. You're going against the judges now. What's next?
Another flight. Another flight every day. Teams are going to be out there every day. Every day, the men and women of ICE are going to be in the neighborhoods of this nation arresting criminal, illegal alien, public safety threats, and national security.
Gotta love this guy.
Lawrence, you're not going to stop us. We made a promise to the American people. The President Trump has made a promise to the American people. We're going to make this country safe again. I wake up every morning loving my job because I work for the greatest president in the history of my life, and we're going to make this country safe again. I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
Yeah. I just love seeing you going through these protesters just crunching on the apple as their liberal tears just flood the hallway. Tom Homan, thanks so much for joining the program.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian.
Yeah, so that's it for this episode. Yeah, great stuff, guys. Great stuff. So, let me know what you think in the comments below. And again, if you like the content, do me a favor, please, for the algorithms, because with this type of content, a lot of times we're being censored or whatever, but please, cost you nothing. Hit the like button for me, please. I'm asking you this. Let's get the message out. Help me help you and everyone else of us who want to make America safe. Inform the people that they're being deceived. Let me help you do that by hitting that like button. That's all I ask of you. And if you really love the content, because I'm going to be putting out a lot of this content. This is a new channel, and again, I'm trying to build my base here. So do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. You will not be sorry. I promise you. I'm going to give you good content, things to talk about that the majority of Americans want. So thank you for watching today. Again, I'll see you next time. All right, thanks again.